Welcome back, Wanderers. Dave, the Tabletop Wanderer here, and we are back with some more The Shadow of Alnor. Yes, I'm glad you are all enjoying our little adventure with Killian Silverwood, and his what he's trying to figure out is going on in the streets of Alnor. In the last episode, he went to the Forge district after he managed more or less to survive the river, but then he made his way back to the harbour because that was where his information led him. Okay, so once again, Streamlined Superheroes by John Fredericks, SoloRPG GME, and this is Killian, the Shadow, the new version. The old version's over there. Let's get into it then. So, without further ado, give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. So Killian makes his way back into the harbour. He knows that the submarine came through from the harbour somewhere, came up around here, went up the river, and then everything is pointing to the harbour. Okay, so he spent some time going through the harbour, going through some warehouses and stuff like that. Does he find anything in any of the warehouses pertaining to the submarine? Let's roll our dice here. Yes, but. Ooh, yes, but. Okay, I'm going to grab this here. Let me just grab some scrap paper from here. I got a lot of scrap paper, and we'll be doing yes but. And in SoloRPG GME by Moses Boyajian, it says when you roll a yes but, you roll on the verb and noun table small issue, obstacle, and conflict. So it'll be a small issue, an obstacle, or a conflict. And we got the verb and noun table here. But you know what I want to try and do is let me do this. This is random events. We don't want that. We want where is that? It's a random event, general verb and noun tables. Page 4. Yeah, right here. And random events. Verb list for Oracle and why does it look like it's the first time I'm opening this book? Like it's amazing. It is at the end of the day, so my brain's not working too well. Is it ever? However, a couple of weeks ago, my lovely wife got me these tarot cards and oracle cards, actually. And it's called True Crime Oracle Cards. There's a lot of things here. There's a lot of stuff that you can use for your oracle. So what I was thinking is, let's grab a verb from the GME here, and we'll use a noun from the cards there. So let me grab our D100 right there. Okay. And we are going to roll this. So let me bring this here. And let's roll on the verb list for this event. So that is a 2. And 2 here says summon. So he does find something. Killian does find something pertaining to the submarine. So Killian finds something about the sub, but, and that's where summon comes in. summon. And let's grab this. I have shuffled them, but you know what? Let's shuffle them a bit more. Oh, God. Yeah. Me and my lazy hands. Well, they're not lazy. They do play a lot of guitar. Oh, and thank you for everyone that has seen my little short cover of Iron Maiden's Wasted Years on my other YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad you all enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, you know, you can always say, you're no good. Okay. Now, let's grab one of these bad boys. And we're just going to pick it off right here. So, summon healing. Summon healing. What could that mean? Wonder what that could mean. Summon healing. Put that at the bottom of the deck. She actually got me these oracles, and she also got me this midnight oracle, which I will be using hopefully in the future. It's more like gothic and dark stuff like that. So summon healing. What could that mean? Let's see. Killian finds something about the sub, but summon healing. So he's in a warehouse, right? He's in a warehouse. And oh, I know. I got it. Killian walks into a warehouse, and we'd say it's around here somewhere. And he starts to hear these muffled voices. Some stuff like that, right? He makes his way through the warehouse, and he gets to the back office of the warehouse. And there's these large windows looking into the back office. And he sees this figure just go by the window, and he hides behind one of the crates. And he walks up and he gets closer to the window, and he looks in and he sees this dwarf laying on the ground, just going crazy on the ground, shaking and trembling and all that. And next to him is this human male, and he's talking to the dwarf, and he says, what can I get you? What do you need? What do you need? And the dwarf is on the ground, and his eyes are wide open, bloodshot. His beard is full of spit, and he's just rambling incoherent words and phrases and stuff like that. He's like, they're after me, they're after me, they're after me. And the human is trying to grab the dwarf and screaming, tell me, what's his name? What can this dwarf's name be? Let's see. We'll just call him Dungar. Tell me, Dungar, what can I do? What can I help you with? And the shadow, seeing this, he walks, opens the door, and the human looks up at him and goes, Who are you? We're not doing any harm. Who are you? And Killian turns to him and goes, don't worry, I'm here to help. What's going on? Oh, my friend here, Dunga, he's going crazy. He's got, look at this. I've never seen anything like this. It's like his mind has been overtaken by something. And Killian walks up, kneels down beside both of them, He looks at the human and says, "Has he been taking anything, any sort of substance that you know of?" Well, not that I know of, but he did tell me last week that he had found this thing that will make him, that made him better, because like his forge is, it hasn't had much clientele lately, and he's been a bit down. But he said because of this substance, whatever it is, he felt better and happier. Killian goes, "Well, I think your friend, he's been taken by the mind bend." And the human goes, the drug that everyone's talking about? "Yeah, apparently it makes people go crazy. Gets to a point where they're so crazy that, I don't know, they might do crazy stuff. Even kill themselves or hurt somebody else. Do you know how we can fight this?" And the human goes, "No, I have no idea." And all the while, the dwarfs just go, Killian looks at them and says, "Do you know the Greenwood district?" Yeah, I do. Okay. There's I don't know, let me see what name I can come up for a street. I don't know, let's see. Do you know Dragon Spy Street? Yes, I do. Okay, get him to Dragon Spy Street. And the house number is 33. Tell the fella there that the Shadow sent you. Okay, will you be able to help? Well, if he can't help, he'll summon someone that can. Now get moving, get your friend there. And the human picks up the dwarf and starts carrying him through the harbour, the Tinker's quarters, and into Greenwood district. At that point, Killian comes out of the warehouse, climbs on top of the roof, and he looks out at the harbour. The moon is starting to set, but it's still shining, reflecting its light off the waves of the harbour. And it looked to Killian that he could see sort of some lights under the water. And he turns his back to the harbour, making a mental note of more or less where he saw the lights. And he's about to start making his way back home. And he sees a couple of warehouses down. There's this figure on top of a roof. And the figure is in a pale grey outfit. Cloak is flowing on the breeze. And he's looking straight at Killian. Killian slowly grabs his hands, takes his hands, and takes out his sickles. And the other figure on the other rooftop just points a finger at him and goes, "No." He turns and jumps down. Killian starts jumping over rooftop. And when he gets to the spot where that pale figure was, he looks around, he looks down at the streets. There's no one there. Not a sign of him down at the streets. But he looks down, and next to his foot, his right foot, there's this leaf. A pale grey leaf. He bends down and he picks it up and he looks at it. He looks around more, but he can't see anyone else. So he stashes the leaf in his pouch and he makes his way home. He goes through all of the rooftops, boom, 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 jumping, running. And he gets home, climbs in through the attic window, gets his armor all off, and he becomes Killian Silverwood, the scribe of Alnor's archive. And as he's coming down the stairs to his study, there's a knock on the door. He goes towards the door, gets to the door, opens up the door, and he sees a human holding the dwarf. Do you live here? Killian says, yes, I do. Why? Who are you? My name is not important. This is Drognar. He's my friend. The shadow sent me. And Killian says, oh, really? Okay, then, come on in. Bring in your friend. What's wrong with your friend? I don't know. The shadow said something about a mind bend sort of thing. Oh, okay. Then, just give me a second. I have nothing here to help your friend, but I know someone that could possibly help. Just give me a few minutes. Lay your friend down there on the couch. And the human lays down the dwarf on the couch, and the dwarf's continuing to, like, writhe. Is that how you say it? I think it is. Or maybe I just made that up. You know what I mean. He's shaking. And he goes into his study. And he gets into his study and he picks up this container. He opens up the container, and inside there's this little sort of bat made out of copper. He grabs a pen and paper, he writes something down, well, a quill actually, and he writes something on the piece of paper, rolls it up, he grabs the bat, opens up the bat and throws that little paper inside and closes it. He picks up the little bat and he whispers to the bat, Bryn Amadis, go. Gets to the window and he throws out the contraption. The bat flies out and starts flapping its wings and darts out. He comes back down and he's sitting with the human, trying to get some answers from the human about the dwarf and the state of the dwarf. And there's another knock at the door about 15 minutes later. He opens the door and there's Bryn at the door. And she's looking at him. She says, You sent for me? Yeah. Come in. Got a problem. She walks in. And she starts hearing, They're after me! They're after me! Let me go! Let me go! She's going, what's going on there? I found these two down by the harbour. They don't know it was me though. So they're here, I think. The dwarf's been taken by the mind bend. Oh, so that's why you asked me to bring something to help. Yes, of course. Can you help him? We can try. I've got something here. We can try. And so Killian takes her into the room and she grabs a little vial of green fluid from her pack. She says, we've been working on some sort of antidote for the mind bend, and this seems to work. Give it to him. And Killian takes the vial, goes over to the dwarf, pops open the cork, and says to the human, "Don't know what's going to happen, so hold down your friend, okay?" And the human gets on top of his dwarf friend. Killian grabs his head and opens his mouth and drops the vial of liquid green fluid into his mouth and closes it. The dwarf starts, his eyes open up again, and a couple of seconds later he's fast asleep. And Killian looks at Breen and says, "What's happening?" She said, "Well, apparently they go into a deep slumber, and I think the antidote is starting to go through his system and clean his system, so it will take a couple of hours, but we'll only know if he's well or not in a couple of hours." And Killian turns to the human and says, "You can go if you want. He's safe here. Leave your contact out on the table and I'll get in touch with you." And the human says, "Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. I don't even know your name." "It doesn't really matter. Just wait for my call." And the human goes away. Killian turns to Breen and says, "I was down at the harbour this evening, and this sort of submarine came out from the harbour up the river." She says, "Really? Well, did you stop the submarine?" I couldn't. I got ambushed and got thrown over the sub into the river. I hardly made it out. It was your friend from Orlalane, the Lord of Orlalane. He helped me get myself out of the river. I owe him a debt of gratitude." "Oh, okay. I can set that up for you if you want." "Yeah, but later on, something's going on in the harbour. Someone not so friendly told me that there's a sort of a tower submerged in the water, and I think that's where they're making the mind bend. And then I think the way they get the mind bend into the city is through the river in that sub." "Oh, yeah, that'll explain a lot," she says. "It'll explain why we can't find any traces of how they get the stuff into the city." "Yeah, that sort of makes sense, yes. That's good. Yeah, now I want to talk to this dwarf, so you can leave whenever you want. You know the way out." And she turns and starts walking to the study door, and she stops and turns back and says, "Killian, I know you have doubts of me, but trust me, I only did what I did because we had no other way." And he turns to her and says, "The door." She turns and walks out. After a couple of hours, Killian's sitting at this big leather armchair, looking straight at the dwarf, and the dwarf hasn't moved, but he's been snoring quite a bit. And around, the sun had just started come up over Alnor, and the dwarf starts moving. Killian sits up and looks at him, waiting for the dwarf to get out of his slumber. The dwarf opens his eyes. He looks around and he sees that he's in a strange place. And he sits up quickly, looks around, and he sees this dark-skinned, white-haired elf sitting at this leather armchair. And he turns to him and goes, "Who are you? Where am I?" And Killian turns to him and says, "I want to know who you are first. Then I'll tell you who I am." And the dwarf goes, I'm Drunga. Or Dragna, that's his name. I've got to write that down. I'm Dragna. I'm Dragna. Dragna the dwarf. I'm Dragna. I own a small little forge in the Ironforge district. But where am I? Don't worry, Dragna. You're okay here. For the time being. Your human friend helped you here. He brought you here and we patched you up. Patched me up? What do you mean? And he's looking at his body. He's hitting his body to see if he's been hit or hurt. Well, patched you up is sort of an expression. You came here rambling and just screaming nonsense. Tell me something. Have you been taking mind bend? And the dwarf stares at Killian and he goes, Well, yeah, I'm not too proud of that. You see, the forge hasn't been doing very well lately. Like, customers haven't been coming in, and so it's been pretty tough. And I've been wanting to, forget about the business. And so I met this dude in the streets, and he saw that I was a bit down, and he said that he could help me. And he gave me this little pack with some powder in it, and he said, mix it with your favorite drink and everything will be better. And it was really, really, really good. I didn't think about the business for hours, but then I thought about the business again, and so I went looking for the dude and I found him, and then he sold me some more, and I forgot about the business for a couple of hours, and then I remembered the business again, and so I went and bought some more and more. And each time I forgot more about the business. And then I just forgot. Like, completely forgot. Where am I? Killian turns to him and says, "You're in my home. The shadow sent you here." Oh, okay. But now, Dragna, you're going to have to help the shadow. And Dragna says, of course I'll help the shadow. What should I do? And Killian says, well, go to your forge. I'll tell the shadow and he'll meet up with you. And don't take any more mind bend. You were lucky this time. I don't know how lucky you'll be next time. No, of course not. Of course not. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And as he starts walking out, Killian turns to him and says, "Oh, Dragna, forget this house." And Dragna says, "Sure, of course. I don't even know where I am, but yes, I'll forget the house." And he runs out of the door. Killian stays seated in his in the armchair, thinking. And he's thinking to himself, and he's saying, so that's it. It's powder. Easy to move, easy to conceal, easy to take. Just drop it into any water supply. And it clicks him. It clicks. His light bulb shines. And he goes, is that what the veins want to do? Is that what the pale one wants? Was that the pale one on the rooftop? He gets up from the armchair and he goes straight into his room and he gets prepared to go to work, because he has some stuff that he needs to figure out, and he knows that he could hopefully get some information at the archive where he works in the government district. And that's where we're going to stop the episode. Thank you all for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. A bit more of story. I do like these episodes, get the story moving along. And we met a new character. Actually, we met 3 new characters. Well, 2, I'll think about the human. But we do have Dragnar. I wonder if Dragnar will become a sort of sidekick for the Shadow. And we saw, Killian saw the Pale One, or who he assumes is the Pale One, on the rooftop of the warehouse. So once again, thank you for watching the episode. Hope you are enjoying this series. I want to give a big shout out to my 3 members, Jamie, Mage Hammer, Chad, and Grognard. And also go and check out Grognard's channel. He does quite some very, very, very entertaining videos. Okay, and I'll see you all on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also check out my Discord, my Facebook, and all that jazz. Twitters. I don't use much Twitter, but and I'll see you all on the next episode. Have a great one. Bye-bye.